All right, and we are back with your text questions. We've got Scott Braddock from Scott Braddock Financials answering your money and financial investing questions. All right, so this person says, hey, what is the average fee that a financial advisor charges?
Yeah, that's a great question. Financial advisors charge based on different factors. If you're working with a fiduciary advisor, such as myself, someone who's fee-based, you may look at an average charge of about 1.5 to maybe 1.25 to 1.5%. Now, that's going to be based on the total portfolio value, not performance, which is actually a good relationship to have with an advisor because then not only do you want to see your portfolio grow, but your advisor wants to see that portfolio grow as well. So again, if it's a fee-based advisor, I'd say you're looking at an average of 1.25 to 1.5%.
Okay. And, I think it's always one of those things where we don't ever want to ask somebody, like, how much do you charge? When we're talking about our finances, we don't mind asking the hairstylist how much they charge for a haircut, but for some reason we're sitting across the desk from someone and we get all weird about it.
Well, you definitely, when it comes to your money, want to know how much you're paying in fees. 1% in a fee could be a decade's worth of income. It adds up quickly. So, you can definitely do your due diligence to find an advisor that has a fair fee based on your situation. We use 1%, and so not everybody's at the average or above. There's some variables there, but it's so impactful, the fees and on your money. You want to know how much money is going out and being transferred out due to those fees. You can find yourself a lot of money that way.
Yeah, and you should always get it in writing. If everybody's on the above board, everything is in writing and you know what's going on. So don't even worry about that. All right, this next person says, I made a budget, I wrote it down, but I need help actually using the budget. Do you recommend a big board or something posted in the house that I look at all the time?
That's a great question just because I've heard it before, and it really comes down to the individual. Myself, I like to see it on a big board. I use multiple big boards in my office and at home, and it really helps to spotlight where I need to keep my attention. But other folks, they work well with spreadsheets. They can make themselves a list on the computer, and that works just fine for them. Or there's ways to make notifications on your phone as well. So it's whatever works for you. Whatever works for you and is going to keep you involved.
Right. If you're on your phone a lot, you can find an app to do whatever it is you need to do with that and keep track of your spending and your saving for sure.
Yes.
This next one is one I know that's near and dear to your heart. What are some ways to get over spending habits?
Oh yeah, so this is a good one. I tell you, the one that you really want to focus on is before you go to the grocery store, before you go out shopping, know exactly what you plan to buy. And it's best to write this out and try to take just that amount of money with you that you need in order to buy those specific items. Now, again, I know this takes attention, this takes discipline, right? But if you're being true to yourself and this is something that you want to accomplish, that is a great way to do it. These different companies that are out there, they're really good at getting you to spend more money than you plan to spend. Target is one of those, right? If you go into Target, they specifically put all those nice items right there by the door. And it's very easy to get distracted and end up leaving Target spending way more money than you had planned. I'm guilty of that as well, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, you read my mind. Like, do I even go to Target with a list? No, but I come out with a whole bunch of bags, so I get that.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
This person says, I cashed out my 401k to leave my job and to start my own business. Do I have to claim it all as income?
Well, you do. Your 401k plan is tax deferred, just like an IRA or some of the other 401k equivalents. If it's a tax deferred account and you cash it out, you are required to pay all the taxes on it, and it will be required to be paid within the year you cashed out that 401k. Unfortunately, when we look at those 401k statements and we see a certain sum of money on there, it's not all ours. We have to pay taxes when we take it out.
Yeah, this next question kind of piggybacks on that. They said, is it a good idea to take a small portion of my 401k to pay off my home mortgage? I'm 62 years old.
Right. So it's possible. There's a lot of questions as an advisor I'd have to ask and to lead to a real answer to that question. It could be sometimes you can take loans out from your 401k if you're still working and you have the opportunity to pay it back. that would be the most tax favorable way to take from your 401k is through a loan. You can avoid the taxes altogether. But again, I don't know if she's retired or not, but there's different things you're going to do based on your employment and different things you're going to do based on other assets that you have. It'd be hard to know if the 401k is even the best place to take from. And I do get that question a lot. What's the best asset to use to pay off the house, to pay off the car? So I would definitely encourage this person to meet with someone that could take a closer look at their situation.
Yeah, because you are going to be penalized somewhat for taking that money out, 401k wise.
Well, if you take it out before 59 and a half, you're going to be penalized, plus you're going to pay the taxes.
Yeah,
I think
double.
she said she's 62, so that'll be a little different. She's past that 59 and a half, so we're just looking at taxation.
This person says, how can you tell if a financial advisor is required by their company or state laws to act in a fiduciary capacity rather than something else?
Right. So there's different ways that you can research what they call a registered investment advisory firm. That's a fiduciary registered firm. You can check with North Carolina's Secretary of State with the Securities Department. That's one way. There's broker's check. There's different ways that you can do a background check on your advisor.